Welcome to Sense of Style. I'm Stuart. 8 compliment beast fragrances that work. And every time I get a compliment, I always make a mental note. I have noticed that half of my compliments come within the first 30 minutes of application. And that's because that's when the fragrance is at its strongest. Whether it is a cheap, inexpensive fragrance or whether it is a beast mode projecting fragrance, if they can't smell you, they can't compliment you. And I do think it's more important than longevity, because even the strongest fragrances, after 4 hours, the projection is going to die down and it's going to be much less likely. So absolutely critical to get strong projecting fragrances. The second most important thing is to wear designer style fragrances. I don't mean designer, I mean designer style, because Parfum de Marly is a niche house, and that's all they do. They make designer style, mass appealing, hey, come out and hang out with me kind of fragrances. That's what they do. Even Creed, you look at something like, they've got a lot of niche style fragrances, something like Viking, but then, Aventus, it's a pretty happy, friendly, come hang out with me kind of fragrance. You've even got designer houses that make niche style fragrances, something like Hermes, that H24 line. That's niche style. That's trying to be creative, artistic, innovative, push the boundaries. That to me is niche style. Niche style is also something that is the highest quality in a certain type of fragrance style. So the best oud fragrance, the best fig fragrance. And while those may be great, oud only appeals to a certain segment of the audience, right? Whereas designer style fragrances appeal to as many people as possible. The greatest fig fragrance in the world is going to be limited in who you're going to get compliments from. They have to like fig. So designer style, projection, that's what get compliments. That's what I have 8 of today. Fragrance number 1. This is Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privee. And this is a perfect, heavy projecting fragrance that is a designer style. And oddly enough, it is an iris fragrance. Now, I don't consider iris to be designer style. Iris is going for sophistication. It's going for social status. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm sophisticated. Maybe I'm a little better than you kind of thing. That's not great for compliments. People wear fragrances for all kinds of different things, to feel better about themselves. Compliment getting fragrances are ones that are like, come here, let's go have a beer, let's hang out. That's what this is. It's got tons of whiskey in it. It's loaded with booze. It's friendly. It's fun. Yeah, it has iris, but I pick up more sweetness in this than any of the other fragrances in the line. It's got amber and chestnut, both warm and inviting. It's got a little bit of spiciness, but really the booziness does a couple of things here. It adds an element of masculinity, but also an element of casualness, makes it approachable. I'm losing focus on what I'm saying because I really strongly believe this is a great compliment getting fragrance. I'm really excited about it. Fragrance number 2, Red Tobacco by Mancera. And Mancera is a fantastic, what I believe to be designer style niche house. Well, except for their ouds. This is the king of the designer style compliment getting Mancera fragrances on a number of different levels. We all know, if you're in the fragrance community, you know the reputation this has for projection. The problem with this fragrance is we all imagine the worst case scenario with Red Tobacco. We're in a hot car with 3 other guys who each have done 12 sprays of this on and you can't breathe, right? I mean, if you're responsible with this one, if you do 4 or 5 sprays and don't overdo it, I think this would be fantastic for compliments. I mean, it's just warm and inviting. So to me, it's got like 5 or 6 different elements. It's got tobacco. There's no question there. You've also got the sweetness, the vanilla and the amber. There's even fruitiness. There's apple and pear. There is some incense. There's some warm spiciness. There's cardamom and nutmeg. And then you've got 4 different woods with oud leading the way, but it's not an oud fragrance. It's got so many other things you can smell. It's warm and it's fighting. It's strong. Don't underestimate Red Tobacco as a compliment beast fragrance. It is really good. Fragrance number 3, this is YSL EDP. And the one thing that this fragrance does well is the one thing that it has to do if you're a fresh fragrance. You can't afford to wear an inexpensive fresh fragrance if you're going to get compliments. You need something with strong projection, because fresh fragrances don't project as well as, warmer, sweeter fragrances. It's easier somehow to project. The projection here is fine. It's really strong. You're good there. But when it comes to the appeal of this fragrance, I haven't worn it in about 3 or 4 months. For this video, I prepped, I sprayed it on my hand, and the first thing, the word just kind of came out from my soul. It was like, my God, it's so smooth. But given the notes in here and how disparate they are, this had to be smooth. Because look at the different things it has. You've got apple, and it's noticeable. You've got 3 aromatic notes with sage in the lead. The aromatic notes are noticeable. You've got ginger in this. It's noticeable. You've got tonka. You've got amberwood, so it's got a woody sweet element to it. All of those things have to blend smoothly together in order for it to work. It does work. It's got good projection. It might be my favorite compliment getter, aside from the Sauvage DNA that I really like. Fragrance number 4, Paco Rabanne Pure Excess. The rating for this fragrance at the moment is 3.91, which is absolutely ridiculous. This is a phenomenal compliment-getting fragrance. And actually, Paco Rabanne is a house. Mock their bottles all you want. Paco Rabanne is a great house for compliments. Why? The bottles are loud, but they're fun. They're party. Let's hang out. They're like welcoming, like things like 1 million. It says, come here, come smell me, come. This is a great compliment getter. It smells like Coca-Cola. Like if you want to hang out with somebody, let's go have a Coke kind of thing, right? So, it's Paco Rabanne's a great house for compliments. This is a great compliment getting fragrance. You're going to get vanilla, and there's an actual sugar note here. So kind of sweet. You're also going to get like spicy notes. There's myrrh, which isn't a spice, but it's a dark resin, and cinnamon. So that's a spicy dark element. Then you're going to get the liquor note, which is like a little boozy, but it's fun. It's warm. It's a great party fragrance. It projects really strongly, and just ignore that Fragrantica rating if you're looking for compliments, because you will get them. Fragrance number 5, this is Prada Lunar Rosa Black. And I don't believe Prada is a good house for compliments at all. It is an upwardly mobile, more professional, more sophisticated house. Probably appeals more to an older audience. But there are 2 Prada fragrances I think work really well for compliments. The first one, when you're in warm weather, is Lunar Rosa Carbon. That's great for compliments. When the weather is cooler out, you're looking at something like Lunar Rosa Black, because the projection from this is a little bit more than some of the other Pradas, which are more business-like. I get about 3 feet of projection, roughly. It's hard to estimate exactly, but a little bit more. This is also very warm and inviting and dark, so it works well in cold weather. So it's got the patchouli darkness here. It's got a fair bit of patchouli. It's got some musk, but the main thing here is the amber and the tonka sweetness. Very, very nice. Very, very nice fragrance. Plenty of projection in order for people to smell you. This one you will get noticed. Fragrance number 6, this is Rochas Mustache, and this is generally thought to be a clone of YSL Tuxedo. But the more I get into clones, the more I learn it's very, very rare for fragrances to be cloned exactly. They're always going to put even small twists on fragrances. This twist is interesting because YSL Tuxedo is generally thought to have a lot of rose. I've never tried it, but I've heard enough people talk about the powdery rose in it that they really like. I don't get much rose in this at all. It's listed as a note, but I've never really noticed it. And I think what they did with Rochas, because it's less expensive, they made this more of a designer style version of Tuxedo. Because to me, rose, it's powdery, it's sophisticated. It is more niche-y style, which would suit people that want to pay for that. This is more sweeter, There's more vanilla in this, less rose. I think this is much better. It might even be better for compliments than tuxedo because of the warmth, right? So you're going to get vanilla in this, and you're going to get a spicy pink pepper as well. Don't overlook this one for compliments, and don't compare it to what it's cloning. Don't do that all the time, because sometimes they're sneaky. They're sneaky. They're going to make it more of a designer style, and I think they really did that with this one. Fragrance number 7, this is Armani Code Profumo. And I purposely have a clone of Profumo. This is Sapil bound, so that I can make a point about the modern clones and the complement factor. This one is tonka, leather, and it has some spiciness with cardamom and nutmeg. So it is this, to me, to my nose, the spiciest version of Armani Code. But here's the interesting thing. Sapil bound, while only a $20 fragrance, and this one, I think when it was retail, it was, in the $80, $100 range. So big price range difference. But I've noticed one thing about the modern clones the last 2 or 3 years is that, there's no question, the quality of this is not as good as the quality of this. The longevity of this is not as good as the longevity of this. But the projection of this, the thing that is more likely to get you compliments, these modern clones, that's what they're going for. If you're looking for a compliment, I think this is better than Armani Code. You get 2 hours of just beast mode projection early on with this. This is a fantastic compliment getter, but in general, I think a lot of clones are doing that. I think it's a smart move. Fragrance number 8, this is Versace Still in Blue, and I have a rule. If there is a quintessential fragrance that absolutely represents the topic that you are talking about, I will always have the quintessential fragrance in the video. For compliments, for me, it's Still in Blue. For fall, for me, it's Pure Havane. So the Pure Havane was in all my fall videos. This will be on all my compliment videos. This has gotten me, I would say, 3 times the compliments of any other fragrance in my collection. And the kinds of compliments are a little bit over the top, like really good compliments. So I just absolutely think this works. To be fair to Dior, though, really, this is just a darker version of the Dior Sauvage DNA, not quite as strong a projector either. Still plenty of projection, though, but it's just a very appealing type of fragrance that women really like. Yeah, this one works like a charm. The incense in this makes it darker, but still fundamentally it is that mixture of ambroxan and black pepper. And yeah, this one will get you compliments guaranteed. Thanks for watching.